You are watching Eat, Sleep, Play, and we are in Snowdonia, Wales. We're going to take you on a tour of castles in this video. All of them are an easy drive from the town of Bala, where we were staying at the northern tip of Lake Bala, and Ian, our host, gives us a bit of an overview.
Not to forget the castles,
Not to forget the castles.
We have three World Heritage Site castles, which is Harlech, which is the nearest one to us, and then there's Conwy, and then there's Caernarfon, all of which were built by Edward I, and I think 12th century. Might be wrong there, but and I think
we'll
12th century. And we have another World Heritage Site just down the road. There's a world famous aqueduct, which was at one point the highest in the world, may still be, built by Thomas Telford, and you can still actually get a narrowboat and go across it.
Wow. You
can walk across it, and it's quite a sight.
We began our drive in Bala, and if you'll remember, or if you've been following us, we use an electric car when we're in the UK. So we went ahead and charged up. There was a charging station right in the center of Bala, and that got us on the road and gave us a day's worth of electricity, and that took us everywhere we needed to go. It was unseasonably warm while we were there at the beginning of September, but it meant that we had blue skies, beautiful views, and everything was fairly green considering there hadn't been rain in quite a while. While Snowdonia is known for its outdoor activities and extreme adventures, from river rafting to zip lining, mountain climbing, and water sports, in this video we're going to focus on the castles and historic sites. We went from Bala down to Harlech Castle, and then on to Portmeirion and up to Caernarfon Castle. Conwy Castle is just a bit further north up the coast from Caernarfon, and then the aqueduct is just north of Bala, but further inland from the castles. Noted for its situation above the dunes along the coast, with the Snowdonia Mountains behind it, Castle Harlech was one of those castles built by Edward I. In just 7 years, from foundation to battlements, it was completed. It saw quite a bit of action, but again, that location was fortuitous. During the rebellion of the Madog ap Llywelyn, the soldiers inside were fed and watered by way of the Way of the Sea, a very steep 108 steps that climbed up the rock face and allowed those soldiers to be fed and watered by ships from down below. Using its natural defenses, its classic walls within walls structure saw siege after siege in some of Welsh's notorious Welsh battles. During the Wars of the Roses, it was Lancastrian held and besieged by an immense Yorkist army. The Yorkists shattered the army with guns, while they only had bows from yew trees to fight back with. Under those circumstances, the castle fell in less than a month. And in 1404, the castle fell to the charismatic Prince Owen Glyndwr during the last major rebellion against English rule. Along with nearby Machynlleth, it became the center of an inspiring vision for an independent Wales. But unfortunately, it didn't last long. Although he moved his main residence and court here, he summoned his followers from all over the country to attend a great parliament. This may very well have been where he was formally crowned the Prince of Wales in the presence of envoys from Scotland, France, and Spain. But he was besieged by the forces of Harry and Monmouth, later who became Henry V, the hero of Agincourt. A huge cannon nicknamed the King's Daughter burst during the relentless bombardment that rained down on these castle walls. Eventually, Hungry and exhausted, the garrison fell. Gwyndor himself escaped, although his wife and daughters were captured. Whatever the circumstances, there have been a number of Welsh heroes that have called Harlech home, and who have inspired the Men of Harlech song, which is played in rugby tournaments and is thought to be almost like the second national anthem. But there is one final siege that Harlech is probably best known for. In the spring of 1944, she was defended for the king by its constable, Colonel William Owen. It was the very last royalist stronghold to fall. By the time its surviving garrison of just 16 officers, gentlemen, and invalids finally surrendered 3 years later in 1647, it marked the end of the English Civil War. Harlech remains open to the public, and you fortunately do not have to walk the 108 steps up the steep rocky cliff. There is now a floating bridge that allows you to walk from the car park, which is a pay and display, right into the castle. Admission is £10 for an adult, and the castle is open year-round, 10 to 4 in the winter, 9:30 to 5 in the spring, and 9:30 to 6 in the summer months. You can buy tickets at the door. You do not need to prepay for them. And while it is a castle ruin, there's much to see both inside the walls and along the turrets. There is also a gift shop and restrooms at the entrance. It is easy to enjoy Harlech Castle within an hour or two. Part of Harlech's beauty is indeed the surrounding area, so we ended up making a stop to go look at those fabulous dunes that sit below the castle.
Train ride just to see you, ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone.
As we drove around the coast, we came to Porthmadog, which is really just across the Sounds from Harlech. In its day, it would have been a bustling port, but is now probably best known for being sort of the gateway to Portmeirion. And Portmeirion is the public town for the very private resort area that was the dream of a man that has become a Disney-like reality. Watch our video all about Portmeirion and its fantastical buildings and landscapes. We're at Caernarfon, which is one of the castles in Wales right on the coast. These are mighty fortresses. Caernarfon is another of Edward I's 4 palaces. This one sits along the River Sant and is perhaps the most expensive, costing £25,000 at the time and taking 47 years to complete. It is thought to be one of the greatest buildings of the Middle Ages, and born out of a bitter war with Welsh princes. It is comprised of immense curtain walls and a daunting King's Gate designed to withstand assault. But there's more to it. The polygonal towers, the eagle statues, and the multicolored masonry sends a different message. They echo the imperial Roman architecture, especially the walls of Constantinople. They recall the Welsh myth of Maxen Weldig, who dreamed of a great fort at the mouth of a river, the fairest that man ever saw. So I guess Caernarfon is a castle of dreams. It's a legend brought to life. And even after 700 years, it still stirs the imagination. One of the true Welsh icons. The walls you see here at Caernarfon are 18 feet thick, and that eagle tower with its 3 turrets is truly the crowning glory of the castle. King Edward and his Queen Eleanor first came to Caernarfon in 1283. At that point, it really was just nothing more than a building site. They returned the following year, and the Queen was heavily pregnant at that time. The first tower had been built. It didn't have the height that it would later come to have, but it was enough for them to house in. And on April 25th of 1284, Eleanor gave birth to not just a son, but to Edward of Caernarfon, and it was to become a new royal dynasty. In 1301, he was presented to the Welsh nobility as a prince that was born in Wales and could speak never a word of English. But the truth is that he was the very first English Prince of Wales, and all the money from the Crown's Welsh lands was now his. It was a bitter pill to swallow for the newly conquered nation. He was later to become Edward II, and it was probably no accident that this was the birthplace for this royal prince. From the very beginning, Castle Caernarfon had been singled out for greatness. Its imperial ambition, its epic scale, made it a fitting home for the king's representative in Wales. And for the last 700 years, the title Prince of Wales has traditionally been taken by the eldest son of the reigning monarch. It wasn't until 1911 that Caernarfon again played a central role by hosting the investiture of Prince Edward. And all thanks to Britain's only Welsh Prime Minister so far, David Lloyd George. But it was most famously here in 1969 that Prince Charles was invested. The eroded statue of Edward II no doubt looking on in approval from its niche above the King's Gate.
어디서부터 담을 수 있을까? 벌어진 틈새를 채울 순 있을까? I don't know what to do. We've already spent too much time. 우린 이미 너무 먼 길을 너에게로부터 가장 먼 내 마음이 또다시 철없이 널 향하지 않게 한참을 헤매고 찾아왔던 네가 그렇게 반가울 수 있었을까. I don't know what to do. I can't wait for you anymore. 이제 내게 남은 인사를 건네줄게. 너에게로부터 가장 먼 곳 내 마음이 또다시 철없이 널 향하지 않게 far away.
If you continued on the road past Caernarfon, you would go up to Conwy, which is another magnificent castle and probably rivals the others in size and scale, and is definitely probably the most accessible from the inside, with lots of interior exhibits, museums, and the ability to climb the very steep, uneven spiral staircase to the top of the castle. Throughout Wales, we found absolutely stunning places to stop, rest, take a break. Driving can be a little bit tiresome as the roads are narrow and windy, and there's lots of cars and big trucks and tractors on them, and so a stop by a river was just a perfect little respite.
Soft blonde, pink bust and shoulders, page 55. You trace letters over the pictures of the climbing vine. I'm in a field of making. I can see a moonflower awaken. Somewhere way past taken.
As we got back on the road, we headed inland back towards Bala, and we'll show you a quick view of the Perched aqueduct, which spans the River Dee and carries the Llangollen Canal across the valley. Built in 1805 and spanning 11 miles, it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. As we headed back into the town of Bala, we were really looking forward to a good meal. Fortunately, there is a really special restaurant in the heart of the city, tucked away on a side road. If you're looking for one of the best meals you'll ever eat in one of the most unique settings, join us for our video from Old Wives' Tale with Rui and Monica, the chef and owner of the restaurant.
Oh, thank you so much, folks. It was lovely to meet you both.
We have lots of videos on this channel about Wales, but you can also find out more about the places where we stayed, on where to stay around the world, and get a look at some of the best lodgings we found in the country.